Everyone, I thought I would film a little bit of an update video about what I'm doing in my personal planners. I'm using some of my own planner inserts that I have designed, some that haven't even been released yet, and that I've just kind of had a little bit in my own personal archives for a while, but I found to be really useful. I'm also using some just kind of like retail bought inserts and kind of planning tools and things, but what I have found to be helpful in my own discovery and maintenance of Planner Piece is by actually seeing follow-up videos of how people are doing with their planner setups and things. So if you'd like to see what I'm currently using, then stick around, let's watch the video, and I'll try and explain as best as I can about some of my favorite planner tools, and you'll get to see a little bit of like my personal kind of planner setups that I have been using lately. So let's go ahead and watch that video, and I'll try and explain as best as I can kind of what I'm doing, and maybe you'll get some ideas. So let's go to the video. Okay, so just to kick things off, I'm going to show you kind of what I might carry around with me on the daily, like as an on-the-go kind of planner setup, my planner wallet. I think I've shown this to you all before, but this is just going to be kind of a cursory overview of what I might have with me at any given time, like what I definitely use on the daily and on the go. So here is my Filofax Austerly, and this is a really thin Filofax. It's actually a Filofax compact. And the difference between a compact and a personal size is that this is going to be a lot thinner like this way versus wider. So this is a Kiki K, but this is like the Kiki K medium, and you can see just how thick that is. But for the Filofax Austerly, it's a lot thinner. And I really like the Filofax compact size just because for me, I really like a clutch wallet or like a long wallet. And this just structurally and just by look, it just has a feel that's closer to like a clutch wallet. So, you know, I've shown you in this before, and this is just to like show you legitimately, this is like what I'm using, and I have this covered up so that you can't see my personal information. But what I like to do is I like to get my planner pages ready in batches, where I don't want to say I decorate, but I do label them. So what I'll do is I will use, these are the Team Vertical style, checkbook style that I sell in my Etsy. And what I'll do is I will use these here, and then I'll skip a page, and I'll use the page that I kind of skipped for like any overflow for this section here. So all of this right here is overflow for this right here. And all I did is, these are pre-printed, but it's not dated. I write in the dates myself. Is I just cover over top of them with headers, and it works out just great. You know, these aren't covered over yet, but I could cover over those if I wanted to as well. And then this can be a little bit of a note section. And then you'll see, now I'm going to flip through. So here is kind of a double page stacked spread. And I just use washi and then headers to kind of color coordinate everything, and I like quote stickers, so this is from me and my big ideas. And then here is an open and blank slate for me to put overflow or notes in between my different kind of weekly on-the-go planning. Here's another one. I showed these actually on my personal Instagram, which is Andrea Royalty, like over the weekend or something. And you'll see each time you see a double page spread that I flip through, it's, you know, you're going to see then one that is embellished and labeled up. Now, something that I've seen online that other people have done is they have done like the vertical, and then they do one side that's like horizontal. And for me, it just doesn't work, the design of that. I've actually run it through a couple of kind of like trial runs, and even kind of tested it out with some folks who are a little bit of like my product testers and are really, really frank and honest with me, and who know a thing or two about design. And, you know, the whole idea of like rotating and spinning your planner is a really great thing. But what I always think about when I'm doing planner design or planner insert or just planner assembly, like when I'm taking different inserts and putting them together to be like my own kind of planner setup that's fully just individualized and personalized, is that whenever you are, let's say you're using a wall calendar, it's a very natural and organic motion for you to flip, you know, from top to bottom or left to right, and not to have to like move it back and forth and back and forth. For me, that's a very disruptive sort of emotion. It's not very intuitive. It's not very organic. And this is very organic to go from like flipping this way and up to kind of move yourself through the weeks. So that's actually why I prefer to do it that way. I would say that if you are interested in these types of pages, like you end up placing an order from my Etsy shop, that you don't necessarily have to do it like flipping this way the way that I'm doing it. You could just as well, if you wanted to, you could just label them and then you could flip it this way instead. So that instead of like you're going like this instead. But this motion right here seems very natural to me because it's very similar to what you would do with a wall calendar. It's something that like it's familiar to you, that organization, so that's kind of why I did these planner inserts that way. It's been really exciting to me actually to see other people do planner inserts that are similar in fashion where it's like the stacked vertical, but they have differed in design from mine just because, like I said, I kind of put these through some rigorous sort of design kind of trial runs, and that's why they end up being the way that they are. We have this saying in my house, do it right or do it twice, or do it nice or do it twice. And so I like doing something once and then have it be done. That's also actually why I sometimes will not release inserts right away, like you'll see them, and then it'll take me a while to release them because I'm trying to make sure that they are absolutely as impeccably designed and easy to use and easy and intuitive for like someone else to use, like a user. That's what I work in. I work in user experience design. You know, I want to make sure it's as easy and intuitive as possible for anybody to use. So these are just sticker kind of inserts, I guess, from Planner Kate. And these are really great because these work and they fit on in this space just as well as they fit on the monthly calendar view, which I have here. And I think I've shown you the monthly. Oh, I also have just like its own, these are just in their own divider. There's some Nicole Hutch. These are grid back, but then they're monthly calendar. And you'll see this is set up very similarly to like a regular kind of a wall calendar. I've shown these to you before. I use them. I use these little icons from my Traveler sticker book, which is by an Etsy seller who's actually also a planner friend of mine, but she designed and fabricated this Traveler sticker book, and it fits really nicely right back there in the back of my Filofax. And yeah, like this is very similar to a calendar. Now, some people might say, okay, yeah, but in like a traditional wall calendar, this up here would be a picture and this down here would be a grid. That would be great and well and good, but the way that I think about it is I'm trying to think about the big picture of a month, and so that's why I put that up there, because that's like the big picture idea, and this would be like the breakdown. Me writing notes about bill pay, or about notes about meetings, or you know, I will put things on these page flag sticky notes that I got from Michael's some time ago. I think they might still be at Michael's though. And I can write things there, and then I can kind of move them around. So everything is really modular. So that's like for my on-the-go planner. And you know, I really like using a ring binder because, well, I like using all the different types of planners, because then you can pop what you have in here, which is a KikiK medium. You can pop what's in here and kind of change them. So I can take around with me like, I don't know, 6-7 weeks of weekly inserts if I want to. And then what I do is I archive them in here. So we're gonna pop this open. This is a dashboard that I love from 4 Boys Chaos on Etsy. It's foil, and I love just like the rainbow patterning. So all of these here are archive pages that I've already used. I've already gone through. And here we go. And I have these like kind of predated. What I like to do is I like to go through and do something called batch prepping. If you've ever worked in a restaurant, it's basically like doing prep work. And what I'll do is I will get my planner inserts ready by pre-dating them so that they're ready to go. And then I can go and I can label them up if I want to. So now we're going to go back to like this section now. These are Erin Condren inserts, I guess you could call them. They're planner pages that I just extracted from the different types of planners that she makes. So there's a vertical one, and here is a horizontal one. And these are the ones that kind of flip and fold, and you'll see that I have relabeled them. And the reason why I've relabeled them and they look like this, and also here's another thing, they pop out like this. Oops, this one doesn't. I thought they popped out. This one pops out. Here we go. So the reason why I have relabeled them and then like make them so they pop out is because this right here is something that I would give to my daughter if we're doing kind of learning on the go, like home education, homeschooling on the go, if we go on like field trips and things, so that then she can use these. See, I just relabeled them by using stamps. So that then she can use these. And I just use this a little bit of like a storage binder, and some people might say, oh, that's really expensive for a storage binder, but I got this on major clearance, and then I used like vouchers on top of it that I had just kind of stockpiled, so it offset the cost nicely, and then it makes for a really sturdy, nice, like huge volume sort of a binder to store inserts. And Kikki.K, they go on sale pretty frequently throughout the year, so I mean it's not hard to kind of get this for a really, really good price. So that's why I have these inserts. You can see I use Erin Condren Life Planner pages, but I don't use them in the same way as maybe like a lot of people would. You can use them as calendar pages, but you don't have to, and that's how I use them. And I bought the life planners on clearance, or just like clear out prices. I bought them straight from Erin Condren, but you just as well could buy them from Staples. A way to save money if you're going to buy them from Staples, this is how you do it. You actually, what you can do is you can buy them through a website called Ebates, and then what you do is you, let's see here, you select pick up in store, so then you get the cash back for Ebates. Then you get, like, you don't have to pay for shipping or anything, and then sometimes they'll let you offset the cost if you have credits, like Staples kind of rewards for turning in printer cartridges, which is what I like to do, and it actually saves me a pretty decent amount. So these are stacked vertical pages for kind of learning on the go that I use as like lesson planning, and I have in each of these sections here kind of pre-prepped pages, or like mostly prep pages, just because I use these as a little bit of like homeschool planning. And see, they're all themed here with like Disney and fun sorts of things, and I have the washi tape theme to go along with that. And that's because what I want is I want to be able to create planner pages or design planner pages visually that my daughter can look at, and then she can see kind of what's a little bit on our agenda or what we have ahead of us. So here is a little bit of a template, like a visual template of what I might go by in order for me to have planning that's friendly for my daughter to be able to look at and read just visually. Literacy, it exists in all different forms, and one way is visual literacy. And so, my daughter, because she's the daughter of an artist and a design teacher and everything, and just like marketer researcher, she's very visually literate. But the thing about pictures is you actually read pictures 3 to 4 times faster than you read words. So if you can pair pictures with words, it can actually make it a lot more efficient for you to do planning. That's in part why I really enjoy kind of object stickers, like using a pencil as a label, kind of like here. Like here, this is for her to know, okay, we're going to be writing gratitudes today, and we write gratitudes every day. So using objects as labels, that really helps. And I'm starting to see a lot more sticker designers out there who are doing things like they are using things like labels on top of objects or just in conjunctions with objects. And that makes me really excited, just because it will help to kind of boost visual literacy for just the general population and the planner community, which is a great thing. It actually can help to make you a little more efficient. So I don't carry this around with me. I could if I wanted to, but I don't carry it around with me. It's very, very big and it's heavy, and in all honesty, I just don't need to have all those pages with me. I do need a place to keep my pages, and there's a number of ways you can store your pages, but I kind of like keeping them in this KikiK. It's really big, it's really solid, and it works for me for archiving pages as much as, like, if I do want to take this with me, like if I'm going to a meeting or something, then I have this. I can pop the pages out just temporarily and then use this, but in all honesty, I don't need to have all that information with me at any given time, which is why it's nice to have a way to consolidate it in something smaller like this. Now, it's my understanding that the Recollections collection binders, the small ones from Michaels, are closer to like this sort of size. Not quite as large, but it's going to be a lot thicker and kind of heavier. I'm convinced that nothing is ever going to kind of beat like the quality and the sturdiness and like the workhorseness of a KikiK. But like I said, you know, ultimately, I don't think it really matters what kind of planner that you use, just as long as like what you're using works for you instead of you working for it. And by the way, this is a little bit of like a leather. This is textured. It's in the art world, it's called like a crosshatch kind of a textured, and it's also called Saffiano leather. Let's see here. Here is another planner that I use that people might think, oh, that's not a planner, it's like a notebook. Well, it's a planner and a notebook. So the way that I think about planning, oh, by the way, this is just like kind of a carry around for notes and things that I made my own inserts. And I just have this one, I have this one and this one. These are both by Milk Shop from Lena, who's out in San Francisco, and he's just wonderful and brilliant. And I really like buying handmade, and so that's why I have these. On top of the fact that they're just like beautifully made and lovely. Yeah, see, this is gonna make, like, I can't snap this right now just because I'm trying to do it one-handed, and that's the only reason why. I mean, you can do it, my dominant hand is my right hand, so anyway. So that's my, like, kind of traveler's notebooks, like, I don't know, traveler's notebooks. Okay, so this is an arc bound Martha Stewart discs and then Martha Stewart cover. I have a number of these, and again, this is like kind of a faux leather Saffiano cover. This is a tan one. I think I might have all the colors at this point, but I just really love arc notebooks. I think that they're really amazing. They're really great design. I am pretty familiar with most of the arc style kind of companies. There is a company called Levenger that makes the most premium grade and like beautiful discs. They're aluminum, they're metal, some of them are like marbled. I mean, they're beautiful, but they're also like $25 a set. So I don't have an abundance of those, but these are really great. These are some of my my favorite disc for Arcbound that are on the market right now from Staples, Martha Stewart. These are upgrade ones, but I think a pack of these, they're only like maybe $3 or $4, maybe not even $4. This is a little bit of a dashboard of my own design that I also have, and I'll show you in a different format, but this is a letter size. And these right here are Lara Casey power sheets that I've just been like working through. Here also is an example of like a page that I designed to do kind of mail registry. The way that I actually use planners is I think of them as using them as like project binders. Like each planner that I might have and I might use, each of these is a little bit of like a vessel for any project that I manage. And I manage a lot of projects. I just have a lot going on. And that's just kind of how my life is. That's like my work at home kind of way that I do things. So that said, like, I consider this to be a project planner because it's about creative process and thinking and just kind of working your way through things. This is great because it has a strap on it and then also a pen loop. And I like to store my pens like that instead of the other way because to me, and I'm constantly like going to be saying it, it's just more intuitive design to be able to like pull it out this way and then put it back like that. It just makes more sense to me. Some people it's like that, but I always think of it like this, like I'm writing with the pen, let's say for example the cap's not on there, and then I can just slide it right back in there. It's like less movement, and then I can just slide it in there. But anyway, there's the strap there that's attached to this kind of cover, and I really like the elastic strap. I mean, I like this snap. this is so awkward. I'm sorry, guys. Here we go. Okay, so there you go. That's how it works. And these are 1.5 inch Martha Stewart discs. They look like they're metal, but they're actually plastic painted. Okay, so here is another ARC kind of product. This is like a leather cover, and these are me and my Big Ideas expander rings, and this I use actually for sticker storage. And I have been an ARC fan for a really long time. I just really think that it's very, very good design. And you'll see these turn very, very nicely. And I did not have to, these are from Catastrophe Design Studios, and these are just for functional planning. And you can use these as labels as much as for like anything else. Here's like the object sticker as much as with like the script writing label. But you can see how nicely that turns. And I have, because of the work that I do, I actually have all of the paper punches that are out there. I have a Lavender travel one. I have the ARC punch, like the really big heavy desktop one, which is one that I would recommend. It is an investment, but I would say that it's an investment worth making. Here's a slash pocket back here that's holding an awful lot. Here are inserts that I might have shown before, but I don't remember. But I have half letter size, and then I have a size called A5 Plus, and that's because they're actually, one is actually larger than the other. And it's hard for me to explain how that is, but those are headed to my Etsy shop. So there is that, and this does have a pen loop there, with the pen not flipped the way that I normally keep it, but that's because I just have it there just for storage and less for like, for writing, because this is a little bit of a sticker binder. Okay, here is just a planning tablet that I got from TJ Maxx, and see how I have these covered up? That's actually not for the reason of me like trying to totally kind of conceal information, but just because I manage adult ADHD. My daughter has ADHD as well. If you were not familiar with the condition of attention deficit things, I'm not going to call it a disorder, because I feel like calling it a disorder makes it seem, I don't know, it gives it a little bit of a negative connotation, and I found that if you just sometimes change the language of something, it just makes it more palatable and then easier for people to kind of like not flip out over. So anyway, so ADHD, so like a behavioral way, a behavioral approach of managing like attention issues, whether you are self-diagnosed or whether you are actually diagnosed with having an attention kind of a condition or challenge, is for you to just cover up things that otherwise visually might be distracting to you. And what I have done is I have all of the different colors of Post-it notes. So then I can match them with whatever the background is. And then what I can do is, you know, if I don't want to see something, it's just distracting me or just overwhelming me because I'm like, oh, but I have all this and I have all this too. Just cover it up with a Post-it note. It's not a big deal. You can write on top of the Post-it note, but visually it just is a little bit less to kind of like deal with. You'll also see scribbles, and that's just because here's a little bit of a tip for like behavioral psychology or just like user experience design. It's actually proven to be a little bit more gratifying to not have a checkbox sometimes and to like scratch and scribble something out. That motion, that like kind of motion of and pressure from the brain down through your senses through to your hand, it just psychologically, physiologically does something for you in terms of your feelings of accomplishment and just getting things done. So I am, you know, I think that the checkbox or just bullet journaling is great. But I think that something else that's also great is literally scratching something off of your list. It has to do with behavioral psychology, clinical psychology, emotional psychology, I guess you could say, consumer experience. Here is my 6-ring binder that I'm using right now. This is from Studio Calico. It is called the Forever... I like always forget the name of this. Anyway, this is a workhorse sort of a planner, 6-ring binder planner. And you know, I use this mostly for work. I use this to work ideas out or to showcase maybe some inserts that I might show to clients and how you can use them. I do actually use these. Like, these are some of my old inserts, but this would be an example of like something that I don't know, would be plain and would be ready to go. And yes, I do use some kind of stamps and things like that and checkboxes, but you know, I do it as a way to kind of visually think my way through something more than anything. I also have back here more kind of mail registry. These are my own page designs from a really long time ago. They are actually in letter size, but I have been able to resize them so that they could fit inside of like a 6-ring binder. Back here, I use these as like visual aids for people to understand how they can do planning for the purposes of aesthetics, meaning like artistic expression, as much as for visual organization. So this is a color-coded layout. This is also been relabeled, so it's a Sunday through Saturday sort of an organization in terms of managing your time. I have all sorts of examples. I've shown these in other videos and things of just kind of like the different ways that you can go about. This is stamps and just like ink. You know, I have a lot of different types of inserts and things. Here are some more example ones. This is an example layout that I did using a printable sticker set as a way to do planning as art therapy. And this I put together for a visual aid or like a visual guide for some presentations that I'm going to be doing specifically about planning, about efficiency and about artistic expression, and how all of those things kind of converge in order for this planning movement to be kind of what it is. Here's a really beautiful sticker set that is from Jenna Rose. She has an Etsy shop called Planning Roses. And, you know, this is a little bit more simplistic, of course, than something like this. But the whole point is like every single box here you can see it has something in it that is pointed. So this is meant to be a little bit of like a real-time tangible PowerPoint. Like I could zoom in and out of this if I wanted to with a document camera or even with this. And this is meant so that someone like that I'm working with, that I can get off of my computer. I can get off of like, I don't know. And it's also very tactile. Like you run your hand over top of it and it's really good. This is also really good for me to sometimes show my students who I might be like tutoring, because I still keep in touch with my students, or my daughter, because learning from a tactile sort of way, it's a very, very effective way to learn, just because it engages your senses. And in teaching, the more senses that you can engage, so your 5 senses, touching, seeing, feeling, smelling, tasting, the more senses that you can fully engage when you are doing anything, the more likely you are to be able to retain information, and the easier it is for you to process. So here's an Erin Condren life planner that I have, and I ripped the pages out of this. And again, here's some more page layouts that I am going to be using to explain more things about visual organization, different ways that you can connect information just visually by using colors or by using pictures or by using objects. And I know that sounds really, really weird and strange, but the thing is that I, as a teacher, or a former classroom teacher, and then I also have worked in clinical psychology and behavioral psychology, and then I've also worked for some really, really major companies like IKEA and who else? FAO Schwartz, and I don't know, I've worked for a lot of different companies. So I just have all different understandings about how planners and project management and planning comes together, and how it has to do with creative process, as much as it has to do with just like managing time effectively so that you don't feel overwhelmed. The way that I think about planning, and here is a planner that I actually made. So I made these here, and these could be dashboards as much as they could be covers. And one reason why I like the ARC system is because what you can do with the ARC system is it rotates on itself. You know, like you can just keep flipping this book, it just can rotate and rotate on itself. So that's why I like, this is an Erin Condren size. Well, it's a little larger than an Erin Condren size. I guess you could say this is more of like a Mom Be Happy planner size. There you go. These discs are standard issue Martha Stewart discs. Let's see here. So this I used because, you know, anytime you do studying or learning, it always helps if you do it in a way that's in tandem with someone else. Like that's why it's great to have study buddies. So what I did is I made a little bit of a notebook for myself that looks kind of like my daughter's, one of her homeschool notebooks that we use.
And she uses this front cover here as a dashboard or to collect stickers. Stickers are a great incentive and reward for any kid. And then it's really great. Stickers are a great way to teach about how to learn about sharing and about economy, all sorts of things. So when we do activities, like I will say like, okay, it's time to pick a sticker. And then, you know, I will pick one and then she will pick one. And then kind of something that you do, it's great for social interactions and for just learning is you can trade stickers. Or just like marvel at them. I don't know. So this is set up so that it's meant to echo and kind of mimic what my daughter has. I just have different covers and things. Here's another one. This is headed to my Etsy shop as an option for, let's see here, as an option for like a section divider or as a cover. And that's something that I design. And these are actually just Post-it notes that I just cut in the shapes of these. I did not buy them like that. I just bought standard Post-it notes and then I cut them to look like that. Here are some more Mombi sized. Here's another kind of cover section divider that is headed to my Etsy shop. I have always wanted to be a fashion designer ever since I was little, and it just didn't end up happening. Oh well. But you know, now I style and design papers, so it's not a big deal. Do educational design too. So that is a great quote from YSL. Of course, Coco Chanel, and that's the back. And then here's my daughter's homeschool planner. Some of this stuff, like I designed the front cover of this. This is not my design. This is from someone on Etsy, Lauren Phelps, I believe her name is. Here is an insert that I designed, and it will be available in my Etsy shop, where my daughter used stamps of various sorts. Some of them are from Sweet Stamp Shop. This was a hand-carved stamp that I got one year for like Mother's Day or something. And so she drew a picture here, and then she wrote about it down here. And there is a front and a back there. And there's a quote that I love. It's one of my favorite quotes of all time, and it's, "Talent hits a target no one else can hit. Genius hits a target no one else can see." And so the way that this would look would be like, this is a left size page, so then you would read it so that it goes all the way across the bottom. And then here are just some visual aids for her to learn how to do different types of arithmetic and computations without a calculator, just because she will learn how to use a calculator as an aid, but we're trying to do things in a different sort of a way, in a very tactile sort of a way. She's finishing 2nd grade. We also use as a part of our homeschool curriculum, and it's one that I'm actually kind of writing myself just because I am an educator, so I can figure out how to do that. But this is also part of our homeschool curriculum. This was put on cardstock, and then I hand stamped it, and then she colored it, and then I laminated it. And this is a set from Sweet Stamp Shop, or some sets from Sweet Stamp Shop. And then we can go through with a wipeable crayon or something and wipe it off, or even a Sharpie, and then wipe it off with an alcohol wipe. And this is a way for her to kind of keep track of her daily tasks that she might be doing. Here's some graph paper. Again, this is all stuff that I designed. I think I showed this on Instagram. These are what I call flip outs, and this is so that you have a little more landscape in your planner pages, or on your planner pages, especially these pages, which would be a little bit of like yearly planning. So you'll see that kind of folds a little bit up accordion style, and it pops up off the page, and then it folds nicely, neatly under there. And I am working on right now trying to develop templates so that I can sell these as a little bit of like extra kind of inserts that you can get to go along with this sort of a layout that is also going to be available in my Etsy shop. And this is me and my Big Ideas Happy Planner size. Here's some dividers back here. These are actually me and my Big Ideas dividers, but then what I did is, let's see here, Michael's has these like vinyl kind of plastic coated dividers, and all I did is I just wrapped it around there, so then it has that kind of white border, and then it has the colorful one in the center. That's all that I did there. And they're self-adhesive and they're really solid. And here is like the back of her kind of planner. Here's some blank pages for us to kind of pop out and then put in the appropriate sections. And that's what it looks like, kind of. And it is meant to look a little bit of like an art gallery. Like it is meant to look like a work of mastery and masterpiece. And the way that I understand things is it's all about how you frame things, the perspective that you kind of offer for something, in the way that like you could just as well put math problems up here, computations up there, and then use this to explain out what, like, I don't know, what the word problem would be. And when you do something like that, when you change the perspective of something, it just changes everything, and it makes things maybe sometimes a little bit more palatable, especially if you have a kid who like just dreads doing math. Just kind of change what it looks like, how it looks on the page. And then here is my last, I guess you could say, planner. This is a little bit of a design notebook. This is an art-bound, leather-bound notebook. These are examples of the lavender discs that I was talking about that I don't have very many of, but I do have them. This is a big, giant, clear kind of decal for me and my big ideas. And this is like just pages of paper that I punched. And then I use this in this sort of a way. Like, it's really, really long, and it can fold back on itself like this. But this is great for doing sketches and draft work. I mean, you could do weekly planning if you really, really wanted to, but this is just for, I don't know, for me to have a little bit of like a catch-all notebook, just a big, giant, there's a big foil sticker, for things that I might be doing for work. So it's like I don't want to say it's like a giant sketchbook, just because I do things a little more technically sometimes in there. There's a pen loop. And I like pens that are retractable the most. Those are my very favorite kinds of pens. So yeah, that is how I use multiple planners. And some people might argue not all of these were planners. Some of them were notebooks, and you have an awful lot of them. And yes, I do. But it's because this is the line of work that I do. I write a lot. I draw a lot. I do things electronically as well, but I have found that I'm actually more efficient when I do things like physically write and physically draw things out. It makes my time at the computer go a lot more quickly, which means I have a lot more time to spend with my family or to do with my hobbies, instead of kind of getting sucked into like the digital kind of, I don't know, typhoon? I don't know what to call it. So there we go, and I hope that you enjoyed this.
So that's the video, and I really hope that what I shared with you gave you maybe some more ideas, gave you maybe some inspiration about things that you can do with your planning. As always with these videos, I'm really trying to bring you like better and better and more useful and applicable content for your own purposes. You know, there are so many planner inserts that are out there, so many kind of like planner designers and makers, and so many different ways to do it. There's stickers, and there's stamps, and there's using things that flip and fold, things that go vertically versus horizontally. There are things that are, you know, digital, because in all honesty, some of the approaches that I have kind of shared with you about how you can do planning, they are totally, completely applicable to a more digital format. Some are, you know, just entirely handwritten, like bullet journaling. Some things take a combination of different approaches, like it'll take a daily page and then a weekly page, or a monthly page and a yearly kind of a setup. Now, for my own personal needs, I know that my planning needs, they regularly evolve and they change. And that's something that is totally and completely normal. If you're doing something like planner hopping, or even finding that every single week you just might need to kind of tweak your planning approach a little bit, then that's perfectly okay. That's actually kind of the beauty of planning. I mean, the whole thing with a plan is that, you know, it should be a little bit flexible. It should leave some room to breathe and some time to just like develop and grow. I think of planning as kind of like creative process. And the way that creation, creative process, or even design happens is it has a little bit of space for like evolution and kind of breathing room. My own like kind of special interest or like enthusiasm of planning, it comes from the fact that I am a professional educator, and I am also very, very interested in like market trends and in the learning process and in creative process and in how people go about understanding information and communication with one another, or just communication with yourself. Now that I'm a work-at-home mom and I'm not doing the, you know, like work outside of the home mom thing, you know, a lot of my focus is on me trying to figure out how to be the best home educator I can for my daughter, who's going to be turning 8 years old this coming June. And so what I have actually found is that a great deal of things that I have learned in just my process in developing of my own kind of approach to understanding how planning works and how that plays in with like the learning process or with creative process is that it's very applicable to me being a more capable and confident home education kind of I don't know. I'm hesitant to call myself like a guru or anything like that, just because I don't necessarily think of myself as an expert so much as, like I said, I'm just like really enthusiastic about how people learn. I'm really enthusiastic about enabling people and teaching people and helping people to just like discover something new. I think that that is just an exciting thing. I hope to inspire people, and I hope to maybe help offer some respite to people who just kind of feel like, I don't know, they're out there, they're trying to figure things out and they haven't quite found the answer yet. That maybe I might not provide a readily available, fully formed answer, but maybe what I can offer is some steering from any of the videos that I've already done, or from this one, or from future ones. So that's a little bit of my spiel. You know, I always do a little bit of like an outro kind of at the end of every video. And I hope that in these outros and things, you learn a little bit more about me, just because I always feel kind of funny, like sitting and doing a video that's just purely me, like just kind of talking to you. I feel like I don't know, it's weird to me. So it's good for me to have these planning videos and for these little bit of like outros, a little bit of a time for you to get to know me a little bit better. Because then I feel like we have just kind of like an ongoing kind of building relationship. And it's based on something that, well, I think it's really cool and really fun, which is planning. So anyway, so that's it for this video. I will see you in the next video. If you don't want to miss the next video, then definitely subscribe. If you want to connect with me in a little more of a real-time sort of a way, then I would request or recommend that you do that via Instagram, on my personal Instagram, that's Andrea Royalty, or I have my Etsy Instagram, which is Dearest Styling. Or if you're really interested in like my adventures of home education and parenting, I have a whole separate account devoted to that called The Planet Junior. I will go ahead and post links to that in the down bar, in the description bar below. And the reason why I have separate accounts is because I understand that, like, if you're really interested in the planning but you don't have kids, and, you know, you're not interested in like homeschooling, then you might not want to see that sort of stuff. So that's why I kind of made like a niche kind of an account for that. And if you're not really interested in like marketing or like my everyday life as a work-at-home mom, then you might not be interested in I don't know if you can hear that, but my dog is like, one of my dogs is barking. Anyway, but if you're not interested in like just like my own personal kind of endeavors and things, and you just want to see planner stuff or just like Etsy stuff, then I have like a separate account for that. So that's it. I better go check and see what's going on with him. And thank you so much for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.